Well, thank you all for joining us. This is another exclusive episode of the Houston Element podcast. And today I have the lovely pleasure to share time and space and to have a wonderful new artist blessed in the mic today, recording and performing artist, Robin.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you doing today? You good?
I'm fabulous. I am too fabulous. I got my caffeine.
Okay.
Look. All right. Cheers, honey. Cheers. Okay. Thank you.
It's a beautiful, what's today? Thursday? It's a beautiful Thursday.
Yeah. I only know because I have to work tonight.
What time?
Oh, not so much later, baby. So we good.
Okay.
We good.
Say, oh, you warrior. Oh my gosh. The second, if it was me, the second that camera turned off, I'm in bed.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this was all I needed. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Right. No, luckily I got caught. My schedule shifted from Friday, so I was like, thank God I can sleep in tomorrow.
We love that. Okay.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Yes. So for anybody that doesn't know, I am an artist of many different things. I love, I write, I record, I produce, I engineer, I master, I do my own video work, directing, conceptualizing, storyboarding, the whole thing, you know. And I'm just now getting more into the performance side of it and the visual side, diving as deep as I want to. But yes, I am an independent artist. I was born in Port Arthur, Texas, but I've lived all over, so the influence comes from a lot of different places. But yes, if you're looking for music with a good emotional ride to it, I would definitely feel like I'm the one for you. I definitely make music for those who feel a lot, who tend to, you know what I mean, empathize more than the average person. So I definitely think that's more my vibe for sure. I'm also always growing too. So that's currently what I do, but who knows? Next year I could have written a book. I don't know. Literally anything.
I love that. And that's why, I like to say artist and not just musician, because you're just a lot more than the music you create.
And thank you for saying that. I actually try to make that distinction too, but I've never heard somebody else say that. I just kind of do that subconsciously. So I really appreciate you doing that, because whenever you're explaining to people, the myriad of things that you do, it's easy to be like, oh, musician, producer, director, and then you're stuck with what do I do most? Or what do I do the best? Or what it really encapsulates. Artist, baby. You're an artist. You do many different things. And that's okay. I feel like we're in the era now where that's so welcome. If you can be the influencer and the performer and the director, the storyboarder, the casting director, the wardrobe and fashion, definitely need a team for sure. That sounds like a lot of work. I recommend if you do that, get you some sleep, some water, hella sunlight. But for sure, if you can do multiple things nowadays, that's where it's at. I love seeing my artists dive into new things every time I, catch up with them personally.
And that's the catch-22 about artistry, is because we love what we do, but we're also like little addicts about it because we want to do everything at the same time as much as we can.
And it makes things, you know what? I think it's crazy because I see so many things. There's a big juxtaposition, I feel like, between I don't want to alienate anybody, but the average musician, I'll say, the mainstream musician, not everyone, but the typical one, and then the artist, we will wait 5 years for an album from an artist if we have to, because we know that artist, like Frank Ocean, no one bats an eye when Frank takes more than 4 or 5 years, because we know that whenever we get it, it's going to be magical. It's beautiful. It lives up to the hype. It's exhibiting growth and all of these different things. But with the average musician, we're looking for its attention. It's what sounds good next, the next big thing. And oh my gosh, I personally love being the artist. I like to take my time. I like that whenever you see something that I've done, know that it has taken me, it doesn't always take me years or months or days, but it's definitely, there's been enough time that care and love could have been put into it for sure, from every facet, not just me or whoever helped write or produce, but everybody involved. And that, I think, is what separates the artist from the typical musician, the big boys from the hobbyists, I guess.
And what is it like for you, though? Because you said the keywords, you put a lot of love and passion into this, and that is both personal and not personal, but very very, very, intimate, So what is it like for you after you just a song or a track or something and you're just like, all right.
If I'm being honest, it really depends. It depends on a lot of different things. I personally make music off of my personal life, my personal feelings. And I actually didn't realize, I didn't realize I did this up until maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I had kind of a whole self-awareness thing. I turn 26 next month. So I'm at that age now where I'm looking back at a lot of the things that I did and I'm like, oh my God, why did you do that? But now that I see what it is that I do and like my actual purpose, how I've always kind of been, it's always been an emotional release for me. When I'm done making a song, I always feel like there's a huge weight lifted, even if it's the saddest song or the angriest song or something not as feel good. After it's out, I tend to not need to do or say anything else, which is the reason that I make music. So I always tell people like I want to also add the unfortunate side about that is that whenever I make something specific that consumers like or my fans or supporters or whatever like, and they want that again, it does tend to be harder for me to give that same energy because I'm out of that space. Like the growth for me happens the second that track is done. So like my first album was called Window, and I have so many people, there's like a piano ballad on there called Beautiful Family. And love that song to death. I used to cry, shed human tears on stage singing that. And now it's just a beautiful song. I appreciate what I learned from it. I appreciate the talent behind it now. Like as I sing it, I don't think of the emotions. I'm just like, that's a beautiful run I tried to do, like stuff like that. And I know that my friends and my family who love that song actually want me to do things like that. So it tends to be harder to put myself back in those kinds of spaces. That's the only downside, I think I would say. I'm always somewhere else, somewhere new, somewhere different. But that's what makes it fun for me. So
I appreciate you explaining that the way that you did, because I think that's a very good explanation. And that is an argument that I think fans need to be considerate about when they're coming for their artists. We're fans of you guys and your art and what you produce, but you are people too.
Yeah.
And we can't just be like, oh, okay, you're not a drug. It's not like, okay, give me that high again. that first time. I'm sorry, like not to be inappropriate, y'all, kind of saying we're not condoning nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you said, give me that song back. I want a whole album of just that song. And it's like, you've evolved from that space.
You know what? Thank you so much for saying that. The thing about that too is, at least for me personally, as a consumer of music, not an artist, taking that completely out of it. When I'm listening to an artist, like for example, SZA just dropped her sophomore album, long anticipated sophomore album, and I've seen so many deep dives in YouTube videos and podcasts explaining how it follows up to her first album, which is good, and I understand why. People want growth. They essentially want their artist. They want to grow with their artist, live with their artist, learn with their artist, feel with their artist. Like that's a thing. But some people have not gotten to certain spaces yet, and it's hard to please everybody. You know what I mean? There's no way that she could have made a follow-up to her first album with that exact same energy in mind. Somewhere along those 5 years, I'm sure she had a shift in goals, in self-image, and all those things I think are exuded in that album. But a lot of the critique I saw was that her feelings toward her relationships, I'll say, specifically her intimate relationships with men that are not good for her, maintain the same energy throughout the first album and this new album. And that's also her prerogative too. Like literally, like I said, that's me, but there are people who can essentially bring out that same, song or that same type of vibe. That's them. That's their, their mood. For me, I'm not like that. I have tried so hard to, I actually was listening to some old projects of mine earlier. I'm talking from when I was like 10, 9, 8.
Wow.
And I just wanted to hear what the younger me was doing so that I can get re-inspired as an adult. And even then, I'm like, wow, this is really, like, I really admire this for how young I was. And I A for effort. But if I wanted to, I could not go back here. I've played with the idea of like re-recording a lot of that stuff as an adult with, better vocal ability and more production skills and mixing and all that stuff. And it doesn't work the same because that emotion and all of that is gone. You know what I mean? So I think we should definitely be mindful, like whatever, I'm not saying what you get the first time is the only time, but a song is like a picture is essentially a snapshot of that time, that feeling, we should definitely take more advantage of that. There's something I've kept some of the same songs on repeat. If you look at I'm so ashamed to say this. If you look at my Apple Music Wrapped, the top like 5 songs are the same artist because I had her EP on repeat. It's Alina Baraz. I had her EP on repeat for like months. You know what I mean? Just because that was the space that I was in.
Yeah.
But the EP she dropped like a month or 2 after she dropped that one is in a whole separate space. You know, she's much happier. It's a brighter album. She's exhibiting growth. And I don't have to be there with her yet, but when I get there, there's the album for me to listen to from her, you know, so I can experience that. So it's just all about, I think as an artist, maintaining your own morals, your own feelings and that kind of stuff. And then putting out what you feel is right, because the people who need it will find it when they need it, when it's supposed to happen. So I never fret that too much, I guess. Yeah.
Very well said, you know. And I've been going to shows and listening to music like regularly since I was at least 14. That's my conscious memory of it. And since then, there are some bands that I will continue to go to see live, even though I know that's not going to be the same performance from their first one, okay? Yeah. It's not going to be that same vibe from that track was at that same time. But it incites me to see the growth and to see them performing it in a whole nother mindset, another time. And I'm like, holy crap. I remember when they didn't have kids and now their kids are crawling all over the stage, singing with them. And look at what? This song used to be about a house party and beers and cigarettes and girls. And now you see these little kids just jamming along with them. It's just like, it's beautiful.
Yes. That's literally, I was just talking to a friend of mine about that too. We are planning to go see Paramore when they come in, I think it's July of 2023. And if you know me personally, you know, I am the biggest Paramore fan you could ever, that is me. I am all over it. If they could drop a single where it's literally just like water droplets for minutes. And I would just be like, oh my God, this is groundbreaking. Like I'm so far up their butts, but like, it's because they exude what I feel to be a tremendous amount of growth while still maintaining identity. Like how you were just saying, going to the shows, like even though it's not the same as the first time, you can expect that growth to be just as rewarding as whatever it was that initial time was. Oh my gosh, the first time I ever saw a live video of them on YouTube where they're performing some of the stuff from their first album, I'm like, wow, there's so much power behind Haley's voice and that bass line and the drums. And now here they are going into their 30s. If they're not already 30, I don't even know. I'm 26, so they should probably be in their 30s.
Yeah, they're around my age.
Yeah,
so yes,
something like that. But yeah, here they are, grown adults, fully realized, having gone through so many things that's been exuded all throughout the music. And when I listen to, they just dropped like a new single. I think they have 2 out from their new album. And both of them I have been singing them nonstop just because it's so representative of where not only I am at, but I feel like society is at, where I can see that they're at. The music sounds more confident. You can hear the experience behind it. And with the shows, I was trying to go in July because I had seen a video of the few shows they've played thus far into their tour. And oh my God, the stage presence, the way they interact with the fans, the meanings behind the new songs. I know they were, if you are familiar, anybody here, one of their biggest songs is called Misery Business. And I guess the lead singer was criticized for it having anti-feminist lyrics when she called a woman that took the guy she liked a whore. Oh, am I allowed to say that?
It's okay.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay. So yeah, she said that. So whenever, I think they took it out of their lineup a few years ago. They were like, we don't want to perform it anymore. It just doesn't align with our views. Once again, growth, you know what I mean? They feel like they shouldn't say that about women. They shouldn't say that about women. Okay. But then they bring it back because they understand, I think they brought it back this year or last year, but they understood that it meant more to the fans than just that one word, and that they can assign new meaning to that song. That's the beautiful thing about art. We can always assign new meaning. I don't have to, this song that I listen to when I'm extremely sad and when I'm extremely depressed, and I want to really feel that and lean into that, I can also use that to be the same song that gets me out of that if I want to. You know what I mean? Like we don't have to stay in the same mindset and experiences through music. That's really the beautiful thing for me. So oh my gosh, I want so badly for a lot of us to realize that. I think it would change the way we listen to our music, and we not only do we treat the artist, but it would change the way that we ourselves approach art. Like a lot of the consumers too don't even realize y'all are artists too, just don't exude it the way that we are. Y'all don't do it the way that we do. You know what I'm saying? But y'all feel what we feel because you feel it. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah, like when they go to the shows and they are moved by the performance, by the music, by the experience, they are experiencing art. They are dabbling in art. They may not live and breathe it like artists like yourselves do, you know, kind of thing. And that's okay, you know, your personal journey.
Exactly.
You know, but I like that you were saying that earlier, you know, it's like we don't consider the fact, oh my God, I just had a brain fart, but what were we just, you know, you were mentioning about the music that you know, even if it has like a rough tone, it can bring you out of that rough experience. Okay, apologize. You know,
No,
honey,
okay.
I just had a birthday. Okay, so your girl is
Happy belated birthday.
Thank
oh my
you,
gosh.
thank you. Your girl is aging like fine wine, but she gonna get there. Okay, we're gonna make it to the gas station.
Good luck.
But, you know, something that fans need to understand is that, you know, when you create this music, whether it's angry or sad or passionate, intimate, or a real ratchet, you know what I'm
Whatever
saying?
the vibe
you
is,
know, you're not, your purpose is not to encourage violence or anger or aggression or nothing negative. It's to entertain. It's to create a vibe kind of thing. Like if you want to go on the club, put on that ratchet station. If you feel like chilling, put on the Lana Del Rey. If you feel like, you know, just relaxing, not thinking about nothing, put on some whatever, some percussions or something, you know?
Okay, you know, there's literally something for everything. And I saw a study. Actually, I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know if this was a study or if this is just the article I was reading. But somebody had said somewhere that there are nearly, I don't want to say it wrong, it's either 100,000 or 400,000 songs uploaded to streaming platforms every day.
Wow.
We have got to the point there is something for everyone. I don't believe for a second that the person who makes music out of his bedroom does not have the ability to get just as many plays and as many eyes and views as the person who has a huge label backing and money. It's just all about, you know, resources and all that good stuff and promotional planning, marketing, the whole thing. But there's literally something for everybody. We can literally take actually, even I don't even want to use that for music that we've already listened to. Even if you have like, for example, whenever going back to Paramore, whenever they listened or they released their last album, was called After Laughter, and that was a very depressed album, but it was over these very upbeat, you know, psychedelic kind of beats, and it was new for them, and a lot of people didn't know how to receive that and things like that. And I think we were all going into it wanting, you know, the original punk rock they were doing back in 2005, 8, 9, all that good stuff. And I did too, I'll admit. But once I heard that, I was like, oh, so they are definitely somewhere new. Okay, so these particular feelings I was trying to place weren't going to work. However, they did. When I dived into the lyrics and everything, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, they're still depressed. Definitely still themselves. Still going through it heavy. It's just over an 808 and some, you know, marimbas. But definitely. You can take any and everything. I don't try to shy away. I listen to Japanese jazz. Any and everything, child. There is something for everybody. We all are artists. Even going back to what we were saying earlier about like the audience being the artist too. What good is a museum if I don't have anybody to come in and view my art? You know what I mean? I built this building. I've made this home. Somebody got to sit in the couch. Somebody's got to, you know, make this eat off the dishes, and we've got to use this stuff. So I like to think of my artistry specifically like that. Like I think I have a song called Glass House. But that's literally how I've always seen like my life. Like, you know, I'll put whatever I like on display. You guys are welcome to come and look in. Just don't walk in the house. Not with dirty feet. Take them off at the door. You know?
Act like you were raised, please. Okay.
Yes. But yeah, you're free to look. Please indulge. We also make music to relate. You know what I mean? I think that's a natural human instinct. You want to relate. You want to feel. We need people that, you know, understand. Otherwise, it's a very lonely world out there, child. It can be.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, going back to Paramore's lyrics kind of thing, because I remember what my other thing on that was supposed to be about, you know, is, you know, like you were saying that she mentions the word whore in her lyrics when talking about another female, okay? Don't hold that artist responsible for saying things that you don't agree with, okay? Unless they're at your house, twisting your arm, giving you a wet willy, saying, listen to my song, don't hold them accountable.
especially if it was over 10 years ago. Well, excuse me. No, that wasn't over 10 years ago. That was 2008 or 2007. We are in 2022. Oh, yeah, maybe that was a bit of time ago. So, you know, it's that's another thing too. It's I guess the overall theme of this is growth, you know? Growth.
Yes.
We have to, I feel like as consumers, and not me, you know, anybody who feels that this resonates, not just one specific person or one specific group of people, all of us have to do a better job of I don't want to say growing. How you grow, how you do it, your pace is you, but understand that not everybody has to grow at the rate that you grow, including your favorite artists. So, yeah, if you have something that definitely resonates at that moment, but you grow out of that, cool, that's fine. Check the rest of the stuff out. You know how many not to put them on blast, but you know how many friends that I have that have admitted to me that they have like full albums from artists because they love that artist, but they really only listen to the same like one or two that they are used to. Go explore the other stuff. See what else has happened. You will never know what you just went through and what you need to hear right now. That artist is probably already 2 albums ahead of that. You know what I mean? That's the beautiful thing about it. Or they could not even be there yet. But that's once again another beautiful thing. There's somebody else, something else for that. You know what I mean? Somewhere else to go. That's how I think of music too. It's like a community. There's always somewhere to go to find. What's the word for? It's on the tip of my tongue. To find community. There we go. Community.
And nothing brings a community closer than talking about a great album or EP or mixtape. Oh my God. Like how many conversations I've had where I've stopped people because I saw them repping an album or an EP. And I'm like, we need to talk about how great that project was. Stop what you're doing and let's have a discussion.
I love that you do that. I don't feel like we do that enough anymore. And in my space of social media, because I know everybody is customized to your algorithm, in my space of social media, I see so many people who do that. I love deep dive talks about not even just music, but all kinds of art. I watch book reviews. I watch podcast discussions about books and behind the scenes things, filmmaking podcast. I watch all kinds of things. But oh my gosh, I love that you do that. We don't talk about it enough anymore. I feel like we have our own expectations. They either get met or they don't get met, and then we look to others to see what everyone else is saying. And if it's widely deemed as trash, it's trash. If it's widely deemed as popular, it's popular. But I put myself on blast here. I still go back to Hannah Montana sometimes. Not every month or nothing like that, but just because it ties into my childhood in a way that I'm like, you know what? I used to really listen to this and I'll laugh. I get so happy because I die laughing thinking about the fact that I used to literally sit there with my Legos in my room building and watching the music video on TV or whatever the case it was. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? I don't even know, man. It's a crazy thing. We don't do it enough, but I definitely would love to see us more have. I would love to see people have more dynamic conversations about music and about art, because I feel like a lot of that too helps the artist. A lot of the conversations that I see when they're breaking down albums and thought processes, I'm not the artist, but I'm always like, I don't know if they were thinking about it that deep, but that's a good point to bring up about like even the lyric, the Paramore lyric where she said whore. I don't think she probably thought about that until somebody put it in her face. Like, hey, that's anti-feminist or whatever it is. And then her deeming herself as a feminist probably was like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? You have to, I think it's important to have these conversations. Just to hear other people's sides and things like that, but don't assign a specific task to it. Don't feel like, oh, this album needs to get me out of my depression. This album needs to make me feel alive again. If it does, that's great. But if it doesn't, that's also fine too, because that just means that wasn't your album. That just means that artist, or they didn't grow the way that you wanted to grow, or they aren't there yet, or they're a little past that. Whatever the case is, it's really just, it all circles back, I feel like, just to the growth aspect.
Indeed. Indeed.